The HOA chairwoman had been watching me for months, handing out violation notices for the smallest things. She thought I was just another exhausted, powerless new mom. Then she walked into my hospital room and took my newborn baby. What she didn't know was simple. I never fail a mission. Before you watch the full story, comment below which country you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories. The plastic hospital bracelet dug into my wrist as I shifted in the stiff bed. 3 days ago, I had given birth to the most beautiful baby girl I'd ever seen. My daughter, Emma Rose Carter. She had my dark hair and her father's soft gray eyes. Tiny fingers, perfect cheeks. Every breath she took felt like a miracle. The C-section had been brutal. Recovery was slow, painful, exhausting. But every time I looked at Emma sleeping in the bassinet beside me, none of it mattered. My husband Daniel sat nearby, half asleep in an uncomfortable chair, scrolling through his phone. 6 months earlier, we had moved into Willow Creek Estates, a quiet HOA-controlled neighborhood that looked ideal for raising a family. Clean streets, friendly smiles, a playground at the end of the block. What we didn't know was that our neighbor Margaret Collins was the HOA president, and she was about to turn our lives into hell. Margaret was 57, always dressed perfectly. Neat blonde hair, soft sweaters, pearls around her neck. She smiled constantly, but her eyes never smiled back. From day one, she watched us. Grass half an inch too long, violation. Trash cans visible, violation. Daniel's work truck in our own driveway, violation. At first, we laughed it off, but Margaret didn't laugh. When I got pregnant, the harassment intensified. One evening, she knocked on our door holding a tablet with HOA rules pulled up. "Congratulations on your pregnancy," she said coolly. "Just a reminder, children's items must not be visible from the street. An excessive noise after quiet hours won't be tolerated. You're telling me my newborn won't be allowed to cry?" "I'm saying neighbors deserve peace," she replied, smiling. Daniel shut the door in her face. "She's unhinged," he muttered, but something about her gaze stayed with me. What Margaret didn't know was that I wasn't just an expecting mother. I was Commander Elena Carter, U.S. Navy SEAL. Years of combat, hostage rescues, surveillance operations. I noticed things others didn't, like how Margaret's car was always parked facing our house, or how she always appeared outside whenever we left. It felt like surveillance. As my pregnancy progressed, the emails turned daily. Accusations, false reports, complaints that made no sense. A neighbor warned me quietly one afternoon. "She forced the last family out," the woman whispered. "Even called CPS on them." I should have taken that warning seriously. Then Emma was born. Emergency C-section. Heavy blood loss. Doctors ordered me to stay hospitalized for observation. The second day, flowers arrived in my room. Pink roses. A card. "Quiet hours in Willow Creek Estates are 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Welcome, baby Emma. Margaret Collins, HOA president." A chill went through me. How did she know my baby's name? On the third day, exhaustion overtook me. Daniel stepped out to get food. A woman in scrubs gently woke me. "I'm from the nursery. Routine test for your baby." Half asleep, I nodded. She wheeled Emma out. I slept. 2 hours later, I woke up. The bassinet was empty. "Where's Emma?" I asked quietly. Daniel looked confused. "She was right here." His eyes dropped to the empty bassinet. The color drained from his face. "Sarah," his voice cracked. "Where's our baby?" Adrenaline slammed through my body, burning away the fog of medication and exhaustion. Every instinct I had sharpened over years of combat snapped awake. "A nurse took her," I said. "Routine tests. 2 hours ago." Daniel slammed the call button. A nurse rushed in almost immediately. "Where's my daughter?" I demanded. The nurse frowned, scrolling rapidly through her tablet. "There were no tests scheduled for your baby today, and we never take an infant without signed consent." The room tilted. Before panic could take over, my training forced it down. Fear wastes time. I needed answers. "What did the woman look like?" the nurse asked urgently. "Blonde, around her late 50s. Scrubs, volunteer badge." The nurse's face went pale. She ran. Moments later, alarms exploded through the hospital. "Code pink. Code pink. Infant abduction. All exits locked. Those words hit harder than any bullet ever had. My baby was gone. Security flooded the floor. Police arrived within minutes. Doors slammed shut across the hospital. Nurses ran, shouting instructions. I sat rigid in the bed, hands shaking, not from fear but from rage so intense it made my vision blur. Someone had taken my daughter while I slept. A detective entered, followed by 2 officers. "I'm Detective Harris," he said calmly. "We need you to identify someone from security footage." They showed me the video. A woman in scrubs wheeled Emma's bassinet down the hallway like she belonged there. Calm, confident, she exited through the main doors. They zoomed in near the elevator. I felt my blood turn to ice. "It's her," I said. "Who?" the detective asked. "Margaret Collins, HOA president. She lives 2 houses from us." Daniel stared at the screen, disbelief turning into horror. "She sent flowers," I whispered. "She knew Emma's name." Detective Harris nodded grimly. "We're sending units to her house immediately." "She won't be there," I said. He looked surprised. "She planned this. She won't go somewhere obvious." He hesitated. "Mrs. Carter, we need you to remain calm." I cut him off. "I'm Commander Elena Carter, Navy SEAL. I've led hostage rescue missions overseas. That woman has my 3-day-old daughter." The room went silent. "I need everything you have on her," I continued. "Now." He swallowed, then nodded. As he worked, I forced myself out of bed, despite the burning pain tearing through my incision. A nurse rushed toward me. "You can't move. Your stitches." "My child has been abducted," I said coldly. "Nothing else matters." Daniel helped me dress, hands shaking. Records revealed something disturbing. Margaret had prior complaints, obsessive behavior, stalking, a restraining order years ago involving another newborn. Then the detective froze. "She owns a cabin through a trust. In the mountains." My phone buzzed with the address. "That's where she is," I said without hesitation. "We have units en route," Harris said. "ETA, 40 minutes. "I don't have 40 minutes. He started to protest. I was already heading for the elevator. Daniel drove. I navigated. Blood seeped through my bandage, but I ignored it. "She thinks she's saving Emma," I said quietly. "That makes her dangerous." The cabin was deep in the forest. Private. Isolated. Perfect. We parked far away and approached on foot. "Stay here," I told Daniel. "If I don't come back in 20 minutes, call everything in." He didn't like it, but he trusted me. I moved silently through the trees, pain locked away, senses razor sharp. The cabin came into view. Margaret's silver Lexus sat outside. Lights were on. Through the window, I saw her, rocking my daughter, humming, like she belonged to her. Rage flared, but I controlled it. Rage makes mistakes. I entered quietly. "Put my daughter down," I said. Margaret spun around, screaming. "She's mine," she shrieked. "You're not fit." She lunged. Years of training took over. I disarmed her, pinned her, restrained her in seconds. She sobbed, repeating that she was protecting Emma. I ignored her. I lifted my daughter into my arms. Emma stopped crying instantly. Police sirens echoed through the trees minutes later. Margaret was arrested for kidnapping, impersonation, and child endangerment. She would never see my family again. Weeks later, we moved away. The HOA sent one final letter wishing us well. I smiled. They never knew who they crossed.
The story's over. Now let's get real. Imagine standing there on all that land, every inch legally yours. If you were in the owner's shoes, what would you do? Let them stay, sell the homes, or pull some other wild move? Drop your answer in the comments and let's see who's the boldest.